So I'm excited to talk to you guys. It's fresh in my mind. How did you guys both get involved in this story? Obviously, Wonder, the previous film and book, had a huge life of its own. I come from an education background, so that like took the world by storm. How did you guys get involved?
We read R.J. Palacios' graphic novel, sort of right a little bit, like probably 5-6 weeks into the lockdown when COVID happened. And then we got involved with the screenplay, read the screenplay, and we just ultimately, I started crying when I finished the screenplay, and Raquel wrote a redemptive story for Julian, the bully from Wonder, and we cast the same actor, Bryce, in this, and when we read it, I instantly, it was right 6 weeks into the lockdown. You felt Sarah being in the barn much more and not being able to leave the barn, and everything had such an emotional impact, and I was so inspired by this incredible, beautiful love story of kindness, and at the same time, it was told through the grandmother, the grandmare. And I felt this is a multi-generational movie. It reminds of a time that never can be forgotten. I'm surprised how many young people are not aware what happened really in the Holocaust.
Right.
And I think it's a beautiful love story about kindness that can be inspirational, but also educational, and can be watched in a family setting through four quadrants. And I felt this is very rare, and I felt that, and I was passionately and creatively, I was so excited that I wanted to tell the story.
Renee, what about you?
Agree so much with a lot of what he said. I thought too that we all at that time had no idea what was going on, no idea what the future would bring.
Right.
And I think this story weirdly now is starting to key into this and reflect this. So it had so many elements about humanity, about the power of kindness, and especially, this message of seeing each other.
Yeah.
To me, that is just magical. When you really sit down and understand somebody's story, or even are just walking by them on the street and, you just exchange a hello to each other. This was literally a story to me about saying hello to each other. And being able to tell it in an introspective time, which we were all going into, just became more inspiring or more real to me.
Yeah, I felt RJ's Palacios story offered sort of a window into the soul of humanity. And I think if you find that, then it's important to tell these kind of stories.
I've always wondered, and bear with me, Mark, because I don't think I've ever interviewed a director who's kind of taken on a sequel of something. So I hope you'll bear with me. I've always wondered about the process of that, like what your mind kind of goes through. Obviously, this is a very different piece tonally. It's a period piece. It's also a Holocaust story in a way. What elements of Wonder of Stephen Chbosky's work did you kind of want to carry over in some aspect, or is it really just theming?
I think I love Wonder as a film, but I felt this was totally different.
Yeah.
Because he was grown up, he went to a different school, and Grandma as a character gets introduced, and it's a period piece. So it's a different world, and also I think it's nice to have companion pieces who have a bit of a different feel to them, because instead of trying to keep ultimately with the style and the feel, to sort of make something that's a little bit juxtaposed, because we as move on in life, ultimately everything changes, fashion changes, everything changes throughout our lives. So I felt doing a redemptive piece about the bully is something I have never seen before. I thought it was brilliant from Raquel to write a graphic novel. She illustrated as well about that. So I was very, so in that case, we, apart from, connecting it at the beginning on the phone, seeing a little bit of Augie there, apart from that, we sort of ventured in a new terrain.
And I think too, the telling a companion piece rather than more of a sequel is expanding that universe, expanding that world. But also, I was really drawn to the idea of telling the story through the bully's perspective or the healing, because again, if we isolate people, we can never accomplish any kind of, inclusive world or healing. Polarizing does nothing. So I thought that was a really interesting thing too, to see how this young boy who could have maybe gone on a different path, is told a story by his grandmother that can change his life. And, it's up to him to take that path or not.
Renée, this is the fourth project, excuse me, that you've worked on with Marc, after All I See Is You, Christopher Robin, and A Man Called Otto. What keeps you coming back?
Well, we've been artists and companions for many, many years. So I don't know. There's just this bond in storytelling that, we kind of inspire each other. We're both artists. And I love being part of the fabric that makes these stories happen.
And I must say, Renée is sort of the secret weapon that solves all the puzzles. It's like when we had like issues with, like, for instance, the ending on this movie or certain things on Christopher Robin that we couldn't crack, she suddenly said, "What about this?" And they always work. So I'm very thankful having a partner who cracks the creative code when everybody else gets stuck.
For both of you, what do you guys talked about the graphic novel. What is the key to making a good adaptation of something for both of you, as a director and then also as a producer?
Well, I'm also a writer, so I do love to look at the structure of things. I think that nothing can happen without a good script. Nothing. It has to be at that foundation level. And this was a great script and a great IP to begin with. So I guess once you have that particular foundation, what becomes really interesting, and it did happen in the making of this movie, is you start putting this together in pre-production. You start putting the pieces together, and then you understand that this is now a different iteration, of the base material, and pieces start to move collectively that you kind of have to start working these threads together. If you don't do it in that moment, then it becomes something you kind of have to fix later, and that's not optimal. So that becomes part of the really juicy part of the creative process, is when you're putting all of that together and you see these moving pieces in different areas that you kind of bring together narratively in the pre-production and even in the production, in the very moment. And there's a lot of instances he can speak to of, just improvising in the moment as that performance is happening. So it's a building process from the ground up.
Marc?
Yeah, I think making movies is always, I feel, is a huge privilege, and you transcend boundaries of time and space, and if you do that, you have to find the right, it all comes down to the script and the characters and the storytelling. So I ultimately, and I don't know if that answers your question. I believe the more work you do, as Renée mentioned, the more work you do at the beginning, the tighter the script is, the less issues you have. I believe a movie gets made in pre-production, where you have your creative team around, you explain, you clearly and communicate your vision as clear as possible to them, and that team ultimately executes you. I don't think as a director you have to be a great costume designer, a great production designer, or a great anything. But what you need to have, you have to have a vision and be able to communicate that vision clearly to the people you work with, so they can execute that. And that's then comes back to the script, because if the script isn't completely there, then you will have definitely issues in post. We've been very fortunate that for most movies we ever made, we never had these issues. because we try to put as much time into development as possible.
So, guys, thank you so much. And I hope you enjoy your time in DC.
Yes, thank
Thank you.
No, excited to be here.
Nice chatting with you.
Yes, by the way, what is that cat behind you?
That's my cat, Camo. She's actually right here if you want to see her.
Yes, yes,
Yes, we're big
yes.
cat people.
Oh, we love big
We-
cat fans.
Like,
One second. I know. She was running around during the interview, so if you heard any background noise, it was.
Oh, kitty.
Hi.
yeah,
Hi, kitty.
yes.
Oh,
Big
camo
cat
kitty. Camo.
Yeah, well, you can tell why we call her that. Definitely. Well, thank you guys so
like to
much.
put cats in our movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Closely, there's usually a cat in every movie.
Is it
The
where
big,
is it in the film? Is there one in Whitebird?
yeah, in the
A
bake.
very, very, very
It's
special.
great.
Okay.
It's Pierre the cat.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, his name was Pierre.
It was such a great actor. We thought of flying him over auto, but it was
Yes.
cost prohibitive.
Yeah.
But it was
Oh,
so
yeah.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for checking out the show. If you like what we're laying down, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell to receive notifications for all of our latest stuff.